Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. A warm welcome once again to all our viewers and listeners on my channel, Opted Islam. I also pray that Allah blesses all of you with goodness and success in both this world and the hereafter. Ameen. Viewers, today we will listen to the story of a sister who accepted Islam. Allah showed her special mercy because even though she was born into a non Muslim family and lived in an environment of disbelief, Allah kept her heart pure from shirk and disbelief from a very young age. However, she didn't realize that what she had believed in since childhood was actually Islam. So, come, let us listen to this beautiful and inspiring story in her own words.
Peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. I accepted Islam by reciting the Shahada, the testimony of faith, in front of everyone in a crowded mosque. But the truth is that I did not become Muslim that day. In reality, I had been Muslim my whole life. I just didn't know it. I didn't realize that what I had believed in since childhood was actually Islam. This is because I had always believed in one God, one powerful God, who alone is the owner of the entire universe and who has no partners. Later, I came to understand that this belief is the most basic and most important foundation of the religion of Islam. Although this may sound a little strange and surprising, it is the truth. So, today let me tell you my story in a bit more detail. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate, my new Islamic name is Hadaya. It is an Arabic name, and it means a girl whom Allah has guided to the straight path. I love this name very much because it fits me perfectly. I was born into a family that believed Buddha to be God and used to bow down in front of Buddha's statue. From childhood, I had no interest in religion, so I never believed Buddha to be God, nor did I ever pray in front of his statue. My parents never forced me to do so either. However, as I grew older, I gradually distanced myself from Buddhism. Even then, my father had no issue with my way of thinking, but my mother would sometimes feel hurt by my words and thought that I was committing a sin by disrespecting Buddha. But somehow, it was Allah's unseen help and a special mercy that I believed in Tawheed, the oneness of God from childhood. I always believed that God must be someone who is not dependent on anyone or anything. After all, how could a human being, meaning Buddha, who himself depended on his parents to be born, ever be God? When I was in secondary school, science was my favorite subject. I was always eager to study the creation of the universe, the system of the sun, moon, and stars, and other scientific topics. At that time, I used to think that Buddha could not be the one who created and runs this entire system of the universe, because this system existed even before Buddha was born and continues to function even after he left this world. In short, the more I examined and analyzed Buddhism, the more distant I became from it. Besides this, I also had many Christian friends. In secondary school, I studied Christianity as well, and from there I learned about heaven and hell, the system of angels, and life after death. Many aspects of Christianity attracted me, and my heart accepted that much of it was true. However, there were several things that my heart could not fully accept as true. In this way, I could not be completely satisfied with Christianity either. But at the very least, I did gain belief in heaven, hell, angels, and life after death, core matters of faith, which I later discovered are also all part of Islam. But despite all of this, I never realized that I was Muslim because I never tried to learn about Islam, nor did anyone ever tell me what Islam actually is. My journey of learning about and understanding Islam began when I reached university. There, in the hostel, I had a Muslim roommate. Although I had met many Muslims before that as well. Still, I had never discussed religion with anyone, and no one had ever explained what Muslims truly believe in. Deep down, I already believed in all the pillars of Islam, but I had no idea that my faith was the same as that of the millions of Muslims around me. One day, that roommate asked me, "What do you actually believe in?" We had been friends for a long time, but we had never talked about religion. I told her about my core beliefs. I said that I believe in one God, but I do not believe in the Trinity. I do not believe that any human being can be God. I believe in heaven and angels as well. I told her that the things I believe in are found in many different religions, but they do not seem to fit completely into any one religion. I also said that I didn't even know what to call my beliefs. I had never found a single religion where all of these beliefs fit together. Smiling, my friend told me that I had been mistaken my whole life because all of my beliefs were exactly the same as those of a Muslim. At first, I thought she was simply trying to present Islam in a good light and was only telling me the parts of the religion that appealed to my heart. To be honest, the hatred spread about Islam through the media is so strong that when you hear something good about it, it's hard to believe that Islam could really be that beautiful. After that, she began sending me verses of the Quran on WhatsApp quite often. I agreed with all of them, but in my heart I thought she was deliberately sending only selected verses to spark my interest. The first verses she sent me were from Surah Taha, and the truth is that they felt as if they were describing the theme of my life. I then thought that I should study Islam myself. Either I would find the truth, or my friend's claims would be exposed as false. And honestly, about 90% of my motivation was to prove her wrong, while only about 10% was the search for truth. I went and bought a copy of the Quran myself, with the intention of finding things in it that I could disagree with, and then point them out to my friend. But I couldn't find a single thing like that. I agreed with every verse. In fact, the truth is that every verse is a miracle. Rather, every single word is a miracle. This was also a miracle of my own life. After searching for 20 years, after remaining confused, and after thinking that perhaps there was no one else in the world who held beliefs like mine, I finally found Allah by His own will. The most beautiful part was that He had always been with me. It was only my ignorance that kept me from recognizing Him. I would stay awake late into the night reading the translation of the Quran and crying because I had become certain that I was reading the truth. I am amazed when I think that Allah gave visible miracles to all the previous prophets for the people of their time and gave Prophet Muhammad a miracle that I can still hold in my hands today, the Quran. I realized that I was, in fact, a Muslim, and I also realized how incredibly fortunate I was. At the same time, I would wonder why Allah chose me, a 20-year-old college student, to draw close to Him. How could I be so lucky? Then I had no choice but to seek as much knowledge as possible about God and His commands and to strengthen my faith. There is a hadith which says that if a servant comes closer to Allah by a handspan, Allah comes closer by an arm's length, and if the servant walks toward Him, Allah runs toward him. I walked miles toward Allah, and He gave me far more than my steps deserved. I ran toward Him, and He came toward me at the speed of light. I studied the Quran and Islam for just 1.5 months, or around that time, and then I accepted Islam. I have some non-Muslim friends who, despite my decision, still love me and stand by me, and I am truly grateful to them. My only prayer is that Allah brings them closer to Himself as well, and guides them to the straight path. However, one thing that really surprised me was how little these friends knew about Islam, and often how little they knew even about their own religions. Before accepting Islam, I myself was unfamiliar with it, but I never realized that almost all of my friends would be just as unaware, whether about Islam or about their own faith. The greatest honor of my life is being a Muslim, and the second greatest honor is being able to tell others about Islam. I wish to teach people about my religion, and I hope that through me, as many people as possible come to understand Islam, learn about it, and accept it. I also pray that I continue learning throughout my entire life. I also encourage Muslims to get to know people from different cultures and religions and to share their faith with them. And I especially want to say this: Muslims should stay connected with new Muslims. We have a different perspective. Often, you teach us the rulings of the religion, and we can teach you the depth of faith. May Allah always bless us with the gift of faith, and God willing, may we all become a means of bringing one another closer to Him. May Allah grant that one day we are all surrounded by the light of His closeness, His mercy, and His presence, and that we are honored with nearness to Him.